Hey everybody, I am Blind Ryan, and this is the political compass test that everyone seems to be doing. I've seen Dankula do it, I've seen Tim Pool do it, I've seen a bunch of different rando people do it on forums and 4chan and Discord servers and shit like that. So I figured I would do it too. And but as for the font, well, I'm blind, obviously. So anyway, if economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. I strongly agree with this because, corporations, what a fucking can of worms. And, they'll come up so many more times. I'm sure I'll have more to bitch about. But basically, money should go to people, not corporations. I'll always support my country whether it's right or wrong. I strongly disagree with this. I will support right or wrong ideas. I will not support my country if it's doing the wrong thing. Just like, if my wife suddenly turned into an actual bitch and started doing terrible things. I mean, she knows if she lies to me, the relationship's over. So if I'm going to hold my wife to a standard, wouldn't I hold my country to a standard as well? No one chooses his or her country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of this. I'm going to agree provincially, whilst also saying that I am proud of being American, I am proud of my Scot blood, I am proud of my Jew blood, but I understand that it's foolish, and it's a frivolity that makes me laugh. Random chance. You should not be proud of random chance. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. Strongly disagree. Everybody's equal because everyone is different. Very simple. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's a tough one. But I'm going to disagree because the enemy of my enemy is a person who might be my friend, but also might not be my friend. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Agreed, because sometimes international law is fucking stupid. But at the same time, we shouldn't be fucking going all Nazi and Goebbels and fucking, what are they called? The Cambodian genocide. I can't fucking remember who it was. The Pol Pot thing. Yeah, that's no good. There's now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Strongly agree. There is no more information. It's all entertainment. It's fucking wacky. So, let's see. I'm talking about it too. People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality. Strongly agree. The rich are a pain in the ass. The poor are a pain in the ass. And then there's all of us in the middle between pretty poor but not destitute and, upper middle class, I guess. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. I disagree with that. We need jobs. But at the same time, there comes a point where it's just busy work. But anyway. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. I fucking hate environmental. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to live on this earth very long. And, because of the disabilities and because I'm a human and humans don't live that long, comparatively. So, I'm totally fine with the earth just going completely to hell. Because I'm not going to be here that long and I'm not going to have kids. So, don't care. But at the same time, I'm still, a rational human being, so them feels, right? Because corporations cannot be controlled, they require regulation. I'm gonna provincially agree, because even though I don't give a shit about the environment, I know other people do. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. That is communism. It's a sad reflection of our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product. It really is dystopian when you look at it like that. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. Strongly disagree. If you can afford it, you should be able to own your own land. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to society. Strongly agree. I think if you're going to, you should provide a service to society. Even a bullshit service like, I'm a YouTube star. At least you're making people laugh. At least you're entertaining people. You are an entertainer, Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. A lot of things are sometimes necessary in trade. You got to be open to ideas, I guess. The only social responsibility of a company, should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. Strongly disagree. That is why the gaming industry is in the problem that it's in. The rich are too highly taxed. I disagree. I think everybody's too highly taxed, and I believe the government mismanages money, but, I mean, I think that I'm in favor of a flat tax. I just fuck it. 20%, 30%, don't matter. Just that way everyone knows how much everyone is paying, and we can get rid of that stupid bullshit. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Strongly agree. I believe that we should all have access to a small amount of medical care, you know, the bare basics, the bare minimum, and I believe that people like me who are on disability should have access to decent medical care, which, in fairness, I have access to decent medical care. I can't complain about that. Government should penalize businesses that mislead the public. Very true. I hate government regulation, but I hate liars more. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. I agree with that. I don't like it, but I agree with it. The freer the market, the freer the people. I agree in theory. In practice, it's a pick 'em. Abortion should always be illegal. Strongly disagree. I am very pro-choice. I don't like abortion, but it's not my body, so I don't give a shit. All authorities should be questioned. I agree with that. I mean, you shouldn't be a dickhead about it, which is why it's not strongly agreed. You know, fight the power, man. But I think that, you know, I think you should keep your eye open. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Strongly disagree for obvious reasons. You know, the old adage of then the whole world goes blind and you can't chew. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. I disagree with that provincially because Tim Pool made a very persuasive argument that without museums and theaters and stuff like that, we don't have any culture. And as much as I dislike the theater and museums, I think people should have access to that shit. I mean, I don't think it should always be there. I don't think, you know, Flint, Michigan, for example, some really poor-ass place. I mean, the hick fucking city in Alabama or the little town in the Appalachians, but like bigger cities, they should have access to that shit. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. I agree. I wish schools did a better job and had programs for kids who just did not learn well in that kind of pod people atmosphere, because that's what it always felt like to me, and I've heard it's only gotten worse. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us. The different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. Strongly disagree with that. I'm very much in favor of integration. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Hey, sometimes a heavy hand is what will teach the kid. I mean, it didn't work for me because I've got fibro, and God knows my uncle tried, but once it didn't work, he put me in timeout, and that was way worse because my mind would go and wouldn't have anywhere to go to, and it would be really bad. But sometimes kids won't listen to timeout. Sometimes kids need a heavy hand. Sometimes kids need to take their medicine. My wife and I are listening to the Shining audiobook. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Of course they are. Possessing marijuana should not be a criminal offense. Strongly agree. I believe all drugs should be legal. I believe all drugs should be regulated. I believe addicts should be able to die as they want to. The prime function of schooling should be equip the future generation to find jobs. I disagree. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to be good adults. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. This is an interesting one for me, isn't it? Ha ha ha. Because my grandma took fertility drugs. My grandma took fertility drugs on my mom's side. And unknown to us, the side effect passed down to my mom, where both me and my brother were born 3 months early. Apparently, any kid that her or my aunt would have had the same problem. So I'm in a unique position of being able to actually speak on this, and the key word there, and why I'm saying disagree strongly, is allowed. I think if you are a responsible adult, you shouldn't procreate if you know you have an inheritable disability. Like, like the serious ones, not like me. I can function more or less. I can't get a job because of my lungs, but aside from that, I'm a perfectly cognizant adult. But like, if you know your kid's gonna have a horrific time of it, don't have a kid. But you shouldn't be forced. So that's my thought on that. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. Strongly disagree. The most important thing for children to learn is to question everything. Ask why. Learn. There are no savage or civilized people. There are only different cultures. I'm going to strongly agree and say, or strongly disagree and say one word: Islam. Yeesh. I actually don't have a problem with Muslims. Those Muslims that I've met. But every Muslim I've asked has agreed that Islam needs a reformation or something. Because, woof. And, I mean, even discounting, the Muslim nations, some of which are actually relatively normal, the ones we don't hear about on the news. Even discounting that, you've got cultures that are/were into, cannibalism and other crazy shit that, we wouldn't do these days. So, there are so many variables, and some of them, some cultures do bad things. I mean, it is what it is. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. You're goddamn fucking right. If I were allowed to work, I'd have a fucking 40 hours. I'd have 80 hours. But that's just because I'm so eager to work. Well, when you're troubled, it's better to not think about it, but keep your mind busy with more cheerful things. I will strongly disagree, even though that is technically true for me. For other people, it might not be true. So, each according to their needs, I guess. First-generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. I'm going to disagree with that. It can happen. It doesn't happen often. It's very difficult, but it does happen. More than you'd think. I say it doesn't happen often, but I mean, it happens more often than you'd think initially. Because, I mean, most immigrants, especially legal immigrants, they fucking want to be in their country, that they're immigrating to. So, obviously, they're going to try to acclimate. So, I mean, of course it's possible. Shit. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. Then superlatives, no. Bad. Bad superlatives. No broadcasting institution, however, independent in its content should receive public funding. Strongly disagree. Free market, go. I think the free market should be allowed to do its thing for the most part. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Hello, 9/11. Significant advantage, and the Patriot Bill, of course, of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. I mean, it's true, but I know what they're getting at, so I'm going to strongly disagree, because they're getting at, oh, you support fascism, you support authoritarianism. No. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. No, everybody needs to be worried. They're not, but they should be. I mean, I'll admit it, I'm not worried about being surveilled. I have nothing to hide. I don't give a shit. I look at porn. Ooh! Everybody looks at porn. Except for people who don't look at porn, and those people are disturbed. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Strongly agree. Some people cannot be helped. 1% of the worst crimes cannot be helped. Some people are just fucking crazy. That's just how it is. And instead of spending money on holding them, we should just 2 to the head. Pop, pop. In a civilized society, one must always have people above. No, that's the Japanese model, it sounds like. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. No, that's not true. Art is in the eye of the beholder. Nobody knows that better than me, the guy with one eye. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. I disagree. I think punishment and rehabilitation should be right around equal. Because I've been to jail. I did a crime. I got punished. It's in a video somewhere else. You can look it up if you want. And when you do a crime, you've got to do the time. You've got to accept your punishment. And I believe people should be reformed. I believe rehabilitation should happen, but punishment should also happen. Now, I think we focus way too far on punishment than on rehabilitation in the U.S., but that's just me. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. Strongly agree. That is what's called being institutionalized. The business people and manufacturers are more important than the writer or the artist. Disagree. Everybody's around the same amount of equal importance. Mothers may have career, but their first duty is to be homemakers. No. The first duty of parents is to parent. Mother, father, doesn't matter. But actually, then I guess that no. See, It should be parents may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Because, I mean, that can go either way. So I guess technically I'd be under agree. That's a weird one. No, I'm going to disagree because, I mean, in a situation like that, you should be with your partner talking about, hey, how is this going to work? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? That's just how you have a good relationship. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. Yeah. So, I don't know what you want me to do about that. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. It is, but I know what they're meaning. They're saying that, you know, you should make peace. Yeah, I'm going to say agree because it is an important aspect of maturity. You know, you have to, as people get older, they lose their fire and their fervor, and they learn to enact change within the lines of the established way of doing things. Because, you know, when you're younger, you go the Antifa route and you start bombing places and beating the shit out of people or whatever the fuck they're doing now. But as you get older, it's you start kind of narrowing what your focus should be. And eventually, most people come to the same conclusion. I focus on myself, I focus on my family, I focus on my loved ones. And how do you do that? By accepting that establishment is what it is, you know? Alright. Astrology is bullshit. You cannot be moral without being religious. That's bullshit. I'm a pagan. And I am moral. More moral than most. That is a weird tongue twister. Charity is better than Social Security as a means to helping the genuinely disadvantaged. I'm going to disagree, only because I don't trust people that much. Social Security is... I don't like how many people are on it. Like, I have to be on it because of my lungs. And my fibro, and my blindness, and my deafness, and I hate it. I really do. But I understand that it's a necessity because I just don't trust people enough to be compassionate. Let's see. Some people are naturally unlucky. Meet my wife, please. She is the most unlucky woman I've ever met. It is important that my child's school instills religious values. I'm not going to have a child. It doesn't matter, and I don't think religious values are good. I think that's for parents to do. Sex outside marriage is immoral. Strongly disagree. Same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Strongly agree. Pornography should be legal for the adult population. Strongly agree. I'm not going to go into these because these are all so common sense to me that it shouldn't even be an issue. What goes on between consenting adults? No business of the state. Strongly agree. No one can feel naturally homosexual. Strongly disagree. It is what it is. Yar ha yar. So these days, openness about sex has gone too far. No, it has not. As someone who is interested in that kind of thing. So let's see. What am I? Oh, shit. I'm not as far left as Tim. And weirdly, I'm not as libertarian as I used to be. I was down here before. I've actually gone up a bit. So that's kind of interesting. Yay! Blah, 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 blah. Alright, I'm going to take a screen cap of this real quick. Alright. Print screen. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this political quiz. That showed that I'm a little bit more left than I thought I was. I thought I would be more economically right, because I used to be more economically right. Yeah, I was like right around here. And now I'm up here. That's really bizarre. Huh. It's these damn YouTubers. They've infected me. Anyway, I have been Blind Ryan. I hope you enjoyed this little thing. The political compass test is politicalcompass.org. I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want to take it for yourself. And I will see you all next time.